What's going on, everybody? I got a little bit of a video and a story to tell about commitment. So there is literally nothing more frustrating than making plans with somebody and at the last possible second they don't show up or they quit or they're just not there. You know what I mean? Things like this happen all the time, even though they shouldn't. Whether it's meal plans or you're meeting up with somebody, it's commitment plans, etc. So before I get into it, just bear in mind it goes both ways. You know, it could be your fault as well, whether or not your planning was poor or maybe the timing that you chose was not good for the person that you're trying to make plans with or the people you're meeting up with. But going back to it, nothing frustrates me more than somebody who is on board the entire time but then jumps ship at the very end. And then when they do this, they'll send you a short message saying they have to go to a funeral or they picked up some shift at work or some shit like that. If you're one of these people, I feel for you, because I used to be one of these people, but also you suck. So let's get into the little story I have. So when I was a kid, my theme with everything was quitting. I would quit everything: ice hockey, taekwondo, school, relationships, fucking business ideas. I have all these great ideas, I do all these great things, but then when it comes time to actually like hunker down and put in the work, I just fucking gave up. My dad hated it. Every car ride home after I forfeited something, whether I quit a hockey game or I left my taekwondo class because I wasn't feeling good or some shit like that, my dad would be yelling at me. And he would say shit all the time, like how his sons aren't quitters and he isn't raising quitters. He told me that his sons were different than the rest, and that we would follow through with something and become successful. I didn't understand what he was saying until I got older, and more significantly when people started to quit on me. So this is what made me stop being a quitter. For the longest time, I let my emotions guide me the entire way, and it got to the point where I literally got fat and depressed. What led me to my lowest point was after I confessed my feelings for this girl that I took out to prom. And it was actually somebody that my friend set up for me. But you know how the story goes. I got rejected and everything. And I got rejected, and that kind of made me fall down this hole. For like 3 or 4 years, I was just living without a purpose. And I was just doing fuck all pretty much. Like, I didn't really care about anything else. I was at community college at the time, and I was taking like fucking classes like a middle schooler should be taking. Like I took placement tests and everything, and I pretty much failed, and I got into like elementary algebra for math. English I got placed pretty low too. The point is like I placed like probably one of the lowest that you could place taking a placement test for community college at the time. But after I got rejected from this girl, I decided then enough was enough, and that I was going to change because I didn't want to feel this way anymore. But I failed a lot of times. So one day, a few months after this, I met up with this girl from a dating app and we talked, and she planned to link with me again. But on the day of us meeting, she made up some BS excuse about having to go to a funeral. And then 20 minutes later, she blocked me on everything. Everything. I was like, damn, am I really that fugly? So that really set me off. And I thought, okay, you know, like, it's time to get to work. I don't want to ever get treated like this again. Like, nobody deserves to get treated like that. That's just bullshit and childish, in my opinion. It was time for me to commit to a commitment. I worked hard. I applied myself, and eventually I got into university. I made some money on the downtime as well. I went from elementary algebra in community college all the way to calculus 2 and linear algebra at Rutgers University. So I'm working hard. I'm doing all the shit that I don't want to do, and I'm learning a lot about what it is to be disciplined and to grow up and to just stop bitching about stupid shit. And slowly but surely, I started to gain status amongst my old friends and my new friends. Over time, a new identity for me was created, and I ended up joining a social club at school. I made a lot of friends doing that, and the whole point is that now things like that girl fucking ghosting me or people canceling last second, they don't happen too often. But if they do, I take note of who did it, and I lower my standards for that person. That might sound mean, but if you're willing to be there for somebody and they're not willing to reciprocate the same thing for you, then you are less important to them, and thus they should be less valuable to you. Treat others how you want to be treated. Let me wrap this up. I got a few points to make, and they might not be popular points. It's probably not what you want to hear, but it's the truth. The first point is that commitment is not fun. Commitment can be full of difficulty, it can be full of pain, and every decision that you make is probably one that you don't want to make. But I promise you that the results can exceed your expectations. Commitment's not an easy thing, it's a very hard thing to do, but as human beings, it's just something we have to do to better ourselves. Don't cancel your plans on somebody. If you don't want to do something, then just say so. It's less damage for you and the other person by doing it this way. But all in all, in the end, it's really up to you if you want to make the change. It's not up to anybody else. It's not up to God. You're the one that makes the decisions. That's all I have to say. But I'm going to get out of here while I still can. And yeah.